Hello guys, I'm William and today I'm gonna introduce our topic of technical presentation, which is Google Flutter. What is the Flutter? The Flutter is an open source UI software development kit created by Google, and it used for building pretty natively compiled applications for mobile, web, and the desktop from the single code base. And we will introduce Flutter with its pros and cons, example of use, and existing Flutter projects.
One of the greatest benefits to using Google Flutter is its support for both iOS and Android. In the standard software lifecycle for mobile development, companies would have to be sure to include steps for iOS development using Swift and SwiftUI or UIKit and Android development using Kotlin or Java. With Flutter, companies will now be able to use the same code base for both platforms, minimizing the size of their development team and the time it takes to build applications. Additionally, Flutter also has some web support, so much of the code from the mobile application may be reused to build a web version, saving even more time in the development phase and creating a unified design for mobile to web platforms. One downfall to Flutter is that the UI does not compare to natively built applications. iOS and Android each have different appearances and navigation schemes to their applications. So building one application that is in support of both operating systems will often break a lot of these appearances and navigation schemes that could potentially be off-putting to the users. Flutter is also still a brand new language. Flutter was officially released in December 2018 and has recently been re-released this past March with Flutter 2, meaning it still has a long way to go. For example, I mentioned web support earlier. Currently, this feature is still in development and may not be fully supportive according to the Flutter documentation. Overall, smaller companies or startups may prefer Flutter as it can speed up development time and cost and provide access to a single code base that will support multiple platforms. However, Flutter is still a fresh language that may not provide as much support as other solutions, and Flutter may not be able to provide the same native experience that is given on individual platforms.
So I wanted to talk a little about how Flutter is being used in existing projects. So here's a sample project from Andrew Watson, who is a software developer at Crema. If we take a closer look at the application, um, he's using the list tile class from Dart, and that gives him the opportunity to have 2 to 3 lines of um, text flanked by icons and widgets. So that will allow him to make something like a messaging application pretty fast. And choosing to use Flutter, he has alleviated some of the pain that is associated with using different tools to ensure that the application is compatible with both iOS and Android devices. So here's a list of some Flutter stakeholders, and we have some pretty big names on here like Realtor.com, Square, and of course Google themselves, who serve a large amount of people. And it's important to have a technology like Flutter that can allow them to scale their applications while ensuring that cross functionality. So as you can see, Flutter is still a growing technology, but its uses um, are almost infinite, and it can be applied to virtually any mobile or web project. Thank you.
Now, how to use Google Flutter? The most common feature of Google Flutter is the ability to build mobile applications. You will need two main components to get started, Flutter itself and a code editor or IDE. They recommend using Android Studio for the best experience. First, you'll create a Flutter project, and here you can edit in a dark coding environment where you can also see either Android, iOS, or web output depending on your device. A feature in which they call hot reload allows you to see changes real time of a live running app without restarting. Flutter allows you to import libraries and packages, which can allow you to do cool things. Example is shown here, like string scanner or even a plugin of an interactive Google map within the app. Flutter also allows you to develop beautiful UI through their widgets catalog. You have direct control over things such as accessibility, animation and motion, models, layouts, and more. All of this can be found through their official Flutter website under Getting Started. You can also find a list of tutorials that can teach you the basics. On this page, they even guide you through building an infinite scrolling list.